welcome back, listeners. GZ Sports again, Jax O'Brien and Randy Savage, as we come on again on a Monday night this time instead of a Sunday evening. A little later. It's a bit hot. My phone's running really hard, so apologies for any noise you might hear. But quickly, as we do this quick Jackbox segment, Rush Hour 5. And for people who don't know, this is NFL, this is Dallas Cowboys. Cooper Rush has been fantastic for the Cowboys. First ever Cowboys QB to go 4-0. He went 5-0 yesterday with a great win over the defending champion Rams. And I know the Rams are without some key offensive guards that they don't have this season as they did last season. But it was still a good performance. Micah Parsons, even with a bad groin, would still tear your offensive line apart. Neville Gallimore, Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, fantastic team. But where does this leave Dak Prescott? Well, for me, if you do know who I am, I do not like Dak Prescott one bit. I don't think he's that good of a QB. I do not think that he is ready to lead Dallas to where they should be. But Cooper Rush, at this point in time, I don't care if Dak's on $40 million a year. Cooper's got to play. And that is the Jackbox. And again, as I said, I'm here with Randy Savage again. Sav.
Vamos.
Yes. Alright. So, kicking off today, we start at the Emirates. Yes. Arsenal. Yes. Beating Liverpool. Yes.
Yes.
Arsenal. Title challengers. I've spoken to a few Arsenal fans. They say don't get ahead of themselves. They want to see where they are when it's World Cup time. But can Arsenal go the distance? Can they be the team to finally end this dominance of Man City versus Liverpool?
I don't want to get overboard, right? Because it's still too early to say. But I can give you exactly 3 reasons and the 3 points as to why I think that they can actually make a push. I don't think that they necessarily will win the league outright. But as I said, those 3 points against Liverpool are crucial in that they would have been one of the main teams, one of the other teams to be pressuring and pushing behind them, and to get a positive result against them for the first time in like 4 or 5 matches. It's actually incredible, and it's actually incredible for Arteta's boys. They did well winning at home, to be honest. There just seems to be a sense of unity in this squad. Like that wasn't there before. I don't know if you see. I sensed it, right? Liverpool is in disarray, while Arsenal is the complete and total opposite at this point in time. And I think that was the key difference between the 2 teams. Arsenal played as a team, meanwhile Liverpool, they tried to rely too much on individual brilliance for the matches, and that's where they fell short, in my opinion. Yes, the match, the celebrations were a little bit sour because of the incident that is apparently under investigation by the FA, but I will talk more about that on the GZ transfer roundup. So yeah, all in all, good performance for Arsenal. Title charge, maybe, but I'm leaning towards a yes for the time being.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got to actually give Arsenal credit from where they were. You know, Arteta out, you know, all those people, we know who they were. Does Arteta get that break? He did. He got the chance. He spent a lot of money, but he's finally got an 11 that looks good. The problem is, when injuries do occur, what's going to happen? We see he had to play Tomiyasu at left back yesterday. I mean, a new tear in his back. He's not 100% ready for a game of that intensity, but he had to play Tomiyasu at left back, which really could have caused the balance of that team to be really shaken up. Also, I have to say this, Arteta has got to drop Gabriel. I mean, Nunez has no chance to score the first goal if Gabriel just leaves the ball, let it bounce, it takes the backspin and you get control. He tries to stick out his foot, and who do you think is going to win a foot race, Diaz or Saliba? I don't care how good Saliba is, but Diaz is not going to be caught in a foot race like that. I think Saliba and White have to be the centre-back pairing for the time being, Tomiyasu and Zinchenko as the full-backs. I think Gabriel is going to be a liability. Going further into this season, I don't know if Gabriel can keep the defense together. He is the weakest link.
As you said, Gabriel was a little bit suspect yesterday, to be honest. But you said it good. You said it yourself. What are you going to do when there's injuries? Arteta had to make do with the players that he had, and Gabriel was just the obvious choice at centre back to go with. Tomiyasu had to move over to the left, as you're aware. So, you just have to make do with what you have, and you want to keep your players happy. You don't want to have factions arising in your club where players who aren't getting game time are constantly wanting you out of the club because they're not getting game time. And I think the important thing for him to do is to make Gabriel fight for his place, because with the level of competition that's in Arsenal's squad right now, to play just shows that you're cut above the rest. And I don't believe that Gabriel is cut above the rest at this moment in time. I do believe Tomiyasu beats him. I do believe Ben White, especially Saliba, beats him. Right? So he has to work for his spot and not make silly mistakes. He's just going to become the Brazilian version of Harry Maguire if he keeps it up.
Yeah. And speaking about the losing team, we have to actually show them some sort of compassion as well, even though Arsenal won. Liverpool, they don't look like Liverpool. They look like B-Tech Stoke, and no disrespect to Stoke, but they don't look that good. I mean, who was the best defender of all time in the Premier League going to his first World Cup? I don't want to touch on that, but that's where I'm coming from with him. He's not playing well. Trent. Yeah.
There's two people. There's three people, right? One of them is absolutely based on my own personal preference. The other two, just facts. A man called Vidic and a man called Ferdinand. I'll leave that at that. And for my own preference, you gotta know the GOAT, David Luiz, man.
I know where you are with David. Well, Virgil's not top 5. Virgil's not top 5. I mean, you're disrespecting Vincent Kompany and Tony Adams and Sol Campbell. You can't do that. Those were top-class defenders. John Terry.
But when you make the partnership that these two, when you look at the partnership that these two had, can you really blame me for putting them together?
There's no way you can blame them. They're two of the top 5 best centre-backs in Premier League history, and no one can dispute that.
So nobody can blame me for putting Vidic and Ferdinand. They're just that good.
Yeah, I mean, Vidic, Ferdinand, Tony Adams, John Terry, Vincent Kompany. That's 5 defenders I can name straight off the back who are better than Virgil van Dijk. And it's not any biased or anything. It's just fact.
Exactly. Like, Van Dijk was really excellent when he first came. Don't get me wrong. He was an absolute unit. And then a guy from RB Salzburg dribbled past him. And he just went to dirt.
And then they bought the Salzburg guy.
And then they bought him, and he dribbled past him again in training, and then it's just been that ever since. A downward spiral for Virgil.
Yeah.
As my friend says, who doesn't know how to pronounce his name, he's not called Van Dijk, he's called Van Dijk, because that can't be the same Van Dijk.
Nah, that's Van Disney.
It's Van Dismal.
Van Dismal. But yeah, continuing in that team, the right side of defense is really an issue. Trent has not been good this season so far, but now he has an ankle injury, doesn't look good. They're gonna play Joe Gomez there, which is gonna be fun. I mean, it's either gonna be Joe Gomez or James Milner. Either way, as a left winger, you're gonna have to be licking your lips saying, "Oh, I'm getting at this. I'm getting at this."
Honestly. Trent has not been good this season. Let's not even pretend. He's shown that while he's a world-class talent and a world-class player, he can be exploited, and rather easily at that. All it takes is a little knock to confidence, and that's that, right? Trent, he showed that you can't rely. You can rely on him in crosses, certainly. You can rely on him to get the ball into the box. You can rely on him to win the ball and to move, well, not to win the ball, but to get the ball and to move it forward with pace. But you can't rely on him to make those defensive tackles, to track back and to stand his ground against an opponent who's probably equally as fast or more skillful than himself. He can't do it. And that's the main problem with Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I believe that Gareth Southgate needs to look at the options going forward, especially with the World Cup coming up. Do you want someone like that on the right? Yeah. He's not even the best right back in England, in my opinion. Reece James got that title.
He's not top 2.
You get? Exactly, Reece James. Reece James alone. I don't even need to know the second one. Reece James alone.
Yeah.
Right? He's better than him. And Reece James has exactly what Trent is lacking.
Defense.
He has that defensive capability and the defensive ability. Right? He can go forward, he can still attack. Arguably Trent may be a little bit better, but his job is a right back. His job is to get the ball to the midfielders, get the ball to the attackers, and defend when he needs to. And I believe that Reece James is just the obvious choice here.
Yeah, man. I mean, one last point on Trent for me, but Trent has the attacking ability. Don't get me wrong, he has the attacking ability of David Beckham. But when it comes to defending, he's got the defending aspects of Harry Bunn. He's absolute crap if you try to ask him to defend to win a game for you. He doesn't make it into the Orient starting 11 based on defending. That's not good enough for them to be saying he's the best right back in Premier League history. I mean, we know who that is. He played for United for about 12 or 15 years. He played about 600 games. He was untouchable throughout the entire league. There was no right back that ever came up that actually was better than a Gary Neville. And Trent, because he can cross, he's better. Nah, he can't defend. That's just it.
Yeah, we can leave it at that.
Yeah,
we can leave it at that because honestly, we don't need any more than that at this point in time to just show the levels. People comparing these young players that's barely done anything in their career to these all-time greats, and it's actually just annoying.
Yeah, now final word on Liverpool, but this is not about playing. This is about Luis Diaz, one of the danger man, one of their talisman this season, arguably their best player so far. Had a knee problem, had to come off. It doesn't look good, as Jurgen Klopp said. How bad is this for Luis Diaz? How bad of a crisis is it without Luis Diaz? Is Liverpool gonna be in? Especially seeing they're playing City next week.
Liverpool is in a dire need right now. This just showed, and I've been saying it, Sadio Mane is the best football player in the world. I don't know if you know that means, but it just shows more and more every week. The lack of Mane seems to be impacting this team so much that Salah's confidence in is tanking, right? And Luis Diaz was possibly the only bright spark, but guess what? He's gone now. He's not here for the next match. And you have the defending champion who have an absolute monster of a machine up front. How can you cope? There's no way you can cope with that. Right? There's absolutely no way Liverpool goes into that match with any sort of plan. They're just going to fully lay it. Honestly. They're just going to go in FIFA 22 tactics. Just pass it to the pacey guy and hope he can beat the defender. And who is the pacey guy? Luis Diaz, he's not there. They can't even do that. Come on, it's sad. I honestly hope he gets better soon because you always want to see young talent, right? You want to see them, right? Especially exciting footballers that are not English, are not European. You know, you want to give them a chance and you want to see them thrive as a team.